We are in the worst place in Brazil, Manaus, the worst hit city in the middle of the Amazon, and it was extraordinary yesterday to see pictures of President Jair Bolsonaro wading into another crowd of supporters, at times wearing a mask, but at times not wearing a mask. He has consistently played down the threat of the virus, and on that day too, perhaps the seriousness of the infections in this country was recognised by the United States, banning travel from Brazil to the US or from anybody who'd been in Brazil 14 days prior to their arrival in the United States. It seems to be indefinitely. But here in Manaus, they've been hit exceptionally hard here. At one point, digging mass graves to get the bodies in the ground fast enough. In fact, Jair Bolsonaro, in a cabinet recording that was released by the Supreme Court, referred to the mayor of this city in very offensive terms because of the measures he was taking to protect his population. Now, I caught up with the mayor of this city and put those offensive comments from the Brazilian president, remember, criticising somebody for looking after their own population. Here's what the mayor of Manaus had to say in response about Brazil's president. When you heard the president call you a piece of...
Yes.
Why did he do that?
His dream is to be a dictatorship. But he's too stupid.
You blame his words for the outbreak here because people were too busy going about their daily lives.
I'll tell you, he has complicity with those deaths of corona in Brazil. I think that he is co-responsible.
Seeing what's around here, the number of people who are sick in Manaus, if you had a message for President Bolsonaro, what would it be?
Mr. President Bolsonaro, please shut up and stay home. Resign. Resign. Resign.
Why?
Because he doesn't govern Brazil.
Now, extraordinary in a country like this, seeing the peak possibly in a week or 2 weeks away in its main city, Sao Paulo, spreading further elsewhere, that they are still battling the contrary messaging of their own president, appearing in a crowd without a mask. He's more talking about the disease as something they have to fight in a war at the moment, but his earlier messaging, calling it a little flu, is something people heard in the previous weeks and meant they didn't take the social distancing measures that everybody needed to do. Yes, masks are now mandatory where I am here, but this is rising exceptionally fast across the nation. And here in this city, it's extraordinary how hard they've been hit and the anger often directed towards their president.